Hi, in this tutorial I want to show you what an LMS is and why you might consider this instead of the open web or just a website on the internet. So to start with, I'm just going to give you a snapshot of several different learning management systems that are out there. This one that you see here is our Cambridge Isani Schools e-learning LMS, which is actually a Moodle LMS. This next tab is Schoology, so you'd find that a lot of schools use something called Schoology. The next one is Canvas. So you would find that more schools are moving to Canvas, and we've been investigating that as an option down the road. And then Google is coming out with Google Classroom, and so this might work for some of you as a learning management system. So let's jump on over here to LMS or Open Online Website. So let's take a look at the difference between learning management systems or the open web. Okay, so this article is going to look at two different types of online learning environments, a centralized learning management system or free open access social media. And so we can take a look at this. All right, so different types of online learning environments. A teacher's choice of online learning environment depends largely on a combination and or balance of the following. So what's the policy of the organization, whether it's a university or of a public school district? What's the learning outcomes for the individual class? And what type of interaction and functionality best facilitates this to provide an optimum learning and teaching environment for both students and teachers? So this right here is really the key question that we're looking at or component that we're looking at. So let's take a look at a learning management system. So an LMS is a centralized closed system that's secure behind authentication and can only be accessed by the school staff and its students. In some cases, we have opened it up to parents simply by making a general parent account. We did this at Cambridge Middle School. So it caters for both educational administrative requirements and in some cases you have to pay a fee, but our LMS through Moodle is free. If we use Schoology, they have a free version that you would use and you would be all on your own with that in terms of managing it and getting your students in. Same with Canvas, they have a free online version. You can pay for each of these, which gives you more functionality. But with our Moodle right now, we currently don't have to pay anything because we host it through ECMEC, which we are a part of. So examples of LMSs, like I said, we have Moodle. Here's one here. Schoology is another one. Canvas is another one. And Google Classroom is coming out in the fall, and that would be an option as an LMS. Okay, others that you may have heard about are Blackboard. Maybe you heard of Brain Honey, WebCT, D2L. Those are all learning management systems. Okay, open access social media. These often are referred to as Web 2.0 tools. And as we look at this, these could be things like Facebook, Twitter, Wikispaces, Flickr, WordPress. Edmodo would be another one. Okay, Edmodo is trying to add different learning management system components to it. So it's kind of a hybrid between the two. Now let's take a look at the benefits to an LMS. So first of all, it's centralized and all online components of a class are accessed and achieved through our server that is owned and housed through ECMEC. Authentication. Students and faculty have to put in a username and password to get to the information. That means we can put copyright protected material behind it and still have it be accessible. Tracking and collating. So we can run certain reports in our LMS to figure out different features, okay, and different uses. We can support and train you. If you choose to use Moodle, we will come alongside you. We will support and train you. There will be different tutorials for you. Schoology and Canvas, not so much, but since we are into the Google apps for education, we would also come alongside you if you decide to use Google Classroom. So really what we're encouraging you to do is for an LMS, if you're choosing to use an LMS, to go with either Moodle or Google Classroom, and we'll come alongside you and help support you. It's not to say that these other ones aren't any good, it's just to say that we can only support so many things. All right, and copyright. So again, I mentioned this once already, but using an LMS, you can have copyrighted material behind that. Now, some restrictions obviously is the training, because you have to know how to operate the system. That's why we were saying we will support you in Moodle or we will support you in Google Classroom. We just don't have the ability to support you in the other ones that are out there. You sure can decide to use them on your own, but in terms of getting help from the tech department, we're going to have to focus in on just those two at this time. Exclusion of external guests. So we have to get creative if we're going to allow external guests in. Choice. Some staff prefer the autonomy of delivering the course content in a manner or environment they feel is appropriate rather than using a prescribed one. So sometimes there are limitations to the format. Cost. We really don't have a cost issue with our LMS because it is through ECMEC and they manage the server for us. Okay. All right. Open social media. Some of the key benefits there are familiarity. Okay, so some different learning management systems are trying to make their interface look more like, say, Facebook or other social media sites. If you're using social media as your publishing tool, it's easy to access. Or, another way to think of it is if you're using your first class website. Constant upgrades. You may be facing constant upgrades with social media because it's always changing. And so you'll have to relearn some things. So if you're not on the cutting edge, it may not be the one that you want to go with. They are often free, but with that, sometimes you have to look at what other components will be part of that. You can include external guests. You can promote collaboration. You have different privacy settings that you'll need to know how to run, and technical support. You would have to look online in forums to get your technical support. Okay, key issues. It's not integrated with the systems. We are trying to make our Moodle logins integrated with our Active Directory. And hopefully that would make things easier for everybody, as well as the emails being integrated. Our goal is to integrate those as well with our Google Apps for Education system. In using just an open website or social media, there's no formal record of what's been done like there's in an LMS. You potentially could have hidden costs, no on-site technical support like you would have using Google Classroom or Moodle, and unprotected walls, so anybody can see anything pretty much, unless of course you set your privacy settings and spend that extra time. And copyright, sometimes it is difficult to follow copyright rules when using the internet as a website or when using social media. So that's one thing to consider. All right. So as you move forward here, you may want to start thinking about, do I want to use an LMS like Moodle or Google Classroom? Or do I want to go off on my own, which you wouldn't get much support from us on? Just want to be upfront with that. And lastly, do you want to just continue on with your website? So in closing, I would say here is one of the questions you want to ask yourself. It goes back to this original question or statement right here, and that is, what are your learning outcomes? Okay, I would say if you want to just get information out there to parents about what's going on in class and not get anything back from parents or students, then a social media site or a website would fit your needs. If you want to be able to have two-way communication between you and your students in forums or blogs, things of that nature, maybe have electronic assignment drop boxes, be able to share files with your students, things along those lines, then a learning management system would be something that you'd want to consider. Also, if you want to be able to embed video and have that available for your students, you can do that in either a website or a social media site or in a learning management system. So hopefully this gives you a good overview of what a learning management system is and how it compares to an open social media site or a website. Thanks for watching.